Ladies and gentlemen, Will.i.am. Thank you, man. Just a little bit. Those are some shoes.
Oh, thank you. They're recycled.
They're recycled?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
They will be. I'm not going to get too close to them. They look a bit dangerous. So while you were making your way up here, I showed a Sesame Street video, and I also showed the video of you coming down in the Super Bowl, right? And I remember you telling me that you had serious butterflies when you, right when you were standing on those poles to be dropped down from the middle of the stadium, that you had butterflies. I would have thought by now you would be over those.
I'm over butterflies, but when you're, 100 feet in the air on a stick, literally on a stick, and there's 100,000 people and tens of millions watching. I mean, you could fall and bust your ass in front of everybody. So I was just, and you're up there for 7 minutes on a stick. So that was scary. And then to land and perform and get in the mood after you've been, that was the scariest thing I had to do.
It worked out all right, though.
Yeah, it came out, and then you're like, it just so stressful because you're thinking like, okay, let me calm down. Don't panic. I mean, to say don't panic, you really have, in life or on stage, there's nothing to panic about. But when you're 100,000 feet looking down, it's a real panic. Like, I can die. Seriously, because the rope is, damn well that rope ain't gonna hold you. So that was scary. Like, wow, I could really fall. And there's no way, it ain't like I'm gonna break my knee or my ankle. Like, you're gonna die.
Well, I'm glad you didn't die, Will.
Yes. Me too.
So, actually, while you were making your way here, I had the audience help me with a bunch of questions that they wanted to hear from you. So I'm going to just sort of jump around. Some of them were ones that we've covered in the past. And maybe I'll start with this. I mean, we have an audience full of marketers. And you, I think more than most entertainers and musicians, have embraced marketing. You've embraced brands. Why?
To me, marketing is art, So when I see someone like that, whoever did that commercial, I Was on a Horse by Old Spice, to me, that's like, wow, that was really clever. Look at him, now back at me, now back at him. I was like, wow, that is amazing. It was a great ad. And same process goes in when you're thinking of like, how do you make something that's gonna stick in culture? Same process as when I'm in the studio writing songs. Like, how am I gonna make something that's gonna stick? How am I gonna make something that cracks through and break, that rises above the noise? It's noisy out there, and the internet's even noisier. So marketing is breaking through the noise, right? Whether you're doing it for art's sake, or you're doing it for commerce, or if it's social, it's just how you break through the noise, When you go to, and that same process, it's even when you're out in the world and you're at a Laker game or a Dodger game, and that dude that stands up and rallies everybody, that dude's a marketer. That guy telling everybody, come on, sing this chant. That guy is a performer, a marketer, a magnetic personality, same thing. So between that guy, a performer, a marketer, it's all the same thing to me. Maybe you could say you're crazy, but that's how I look at it.
Many people in the sort of, and perhaps maybe it's more the audience or the fans, say that when a band or an entertainer embraces marketing, they're selling out to the man, and they're no longer authentic.
That's a hoax. I tell you why that's a hoax. That little, whatever that was, that little mind trick, is because of the manager and the record company, because they never wanted the artist to connect to them, because that's where the money's at. So of course they're gonna tell you, don't you sell out, while they go and sell out, and then your songs all over the radio and you play the Staples Center. What the hell does Staples have to do with music or basketball? But I know, in culture, when you succeed, you play at the Staples Center or the Target Center or all these centers that are branded, and your song plays on the radio for free, and it's surrounded by brands, and that's how people listen to free music, is because it's always been branded. And then all the while, they told artists, don't mess with brands. That's all a hoax. And for so long, brands were always wondering, how do we talk to the artists? And then it's all this invisible thing where the manager or the record company convinces the artist to do something. That middleman. The middleman's going to be in the middle as long as he's lying to somebody. Get that guy out of here.
That's why you have spikes on your shoe, I guess.
Yeah.
So you are working directly with brands. I mean, besides, for example, producing a Super Bowl commercial for Salesforce, you are the director of innovation for Intel.
Yeah, creative innovation.
Creative innovation.
It's just like
What do you do?
creative directing. And we're in the process of doing things I can't talk about.
Oh, come on, tell us a little bit.
Just hardware, cool little thingies around our chipsets.
Cool little thingies around chipsets.
Well, no, because I don't want to go into much detail. So
I know, so don't go into any detail, but just give me a picture of something that might exist in the future that doesn't exist now.
So
No details.
I'm trying to think of the kind of thinking I could.
Let me back it out again so now you won't get in trouble with Intel. What do you wish you could do with technology that you're not doing now?
Okay, so right now, my phone is smart as hell. Right? Smartphone. And there's more technology in this phone that was in the space shuttle that went to the moon the first time. And then I get in my car, and it's really dumb. And my house is even dumber. Right? And they're all things I own. How come my house isn't smart? And why isn't my car smart? And I'm not talking about that little smart car either. I'm talking about really intelligent. So those are the kind of things and the kind of, perspective via traveling that I'll bring to Intel as a creative director of creative innovation, is thinking not outside the box, but inside the box, because it's crowded outside the box. So I'd rather stay in the box and then change the shape of the box from the inside.
What's the box exactly?
So the metaphor is, you got to think outside the box. So you let everybody go think outside the box while you remain in the box, and then pound the walls to turn that box into an octagon and then into a circle, and then you roll in.
I want whatever you had in the car ride over. Although knowing you, it was just you. What are you doing here in New York, and how does it relate to some of the work that you're doing? As I understand it, the Black Eyed Peas has announced a hiatus in performing, but you're performing this week.
No, we've been going at it for a while, and we always have our breaks. Like when we released Monkey Business, we took a hiatus from 2007 to 2009. But the reason why you didn't really see that is because I went off and did philanthropy and campaigned for Obama. So Black Eyed Peas we had a hiatus, but we were still active. Since 1998, when we released our first record, 98, 99, 2000, And in 2000, we had a hiatus, right? We were on tour 2001, but 2002 and 3, we weren't really around. And then we released Ella Funk. So we always have our 2-year gaps. So this is another gap, but we're still going to be active doing other stuff.
Before we get into that other stuff, I want to ask you how you came to get involved in the 2008 campaign and how the sort of, now it's an artifact of the win, which is the video that you made that I think helped propel, I think it's fair to say, helped propel Obama to not only popular, it was probably the best ad ever made for the campaign. How did that happen?
So Terry McAuliffe, who's Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, is a good friend of mine, and he called me. Actually, I talked to Terry McAuliffe along the way more than I never talked to people from Obama's campaign. I was just inspired by Obama. And I was sitting and watching TV with my homeboys, and we were watching football, and we were flipping through channels because it was, getting ready to be the Super Bowl, so we were watching playoffs. So we were flipping through channels, and we watched Obama's speech in New Hampshire. A bunch of guys, and we're watching the speech. Like, we didn't go back to, ESPN. We were glued, like, wow. The next day, Fred Goldring at the time, who was my attorney, came because I had a broken foot. I want to use your song, I Got It From My Mama, and turn it to I'm Voting for Obama. So I said, if you do that, Obama's going to lose.
Why is that? You didn't like the song too much?
No, you don't. It's the wrong, you're sending the wrong message out, the wrong energy, right? You're going to break through the noise, but that's the wrong way to break through the noise, right? So it's like, you don't, just thinking around the corner, like, you don't want to do that, he's going to lose. It has drums on it. It's the internet. If people realize that you took I Got It From My Mama, turned it to I'm voting for Obama, they would have known the origin was I got it from my mama, and I was in Brazil with girls on the beach. It's just too much. And even if a kid or the youth gets excited, and they go tell their parents, you can't even align, there's no alignment between the parent and the kid. How about if the kid's 12 that doesn't vote? There's no alignment. There's no conversation. So you don't want to do that one. I try to think of all the possibilities of what can happen in the home or out in the world at a coffee table or after work. I was like, that ain't going to work. I said, I saw his speech. If I were you, I would take his speech and turn it into a song. Instead of translating his words, actually use the words. And you don't do a song to get him elected. You do a song so that teachers teach his speech in schools. Because to say I'm going to do a song to get Obama elected, 1, he has a Muslim name. 2, he's African American, and a song ain't going to get him elected. But a song can inspire teachers to teach a public speaker or a politician's speech in schools, and the last time that's happened was Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy. So there's a big void to fill right now. So if you fill that void, you've already entered the room, and you've done something. You've moved the needle, and you broke through the noise. That's why I would do that. So, and then by saying that, I got inspired, like, yeah, I'm going to do it right now, look it. So I did it in like 30 minutes. And
okay, wait. You did it in 30 minutes.
Yeah, so you go online, you listen to it, you chop up the speech. Okay, I want to use this part. It was a creed written to the founder documents that declare the destiny of the nation. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So so then you put the melody on it. You're like, wow, what is it saying? Right, because there's a melody in every word. Right, so that's why I never get writer's block, because I can listen to melody just in words. So I got a feeling. The melody is in it already. I got a feeling. It already goes up. Da, 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 da. So now you just over exaggerate on the I got a feeling, because everybody's going to say I got a feeling that way anyways. Hey, I got a feeling. it already has a melody. It has arcs. So you just over exaggerate on the arc. That's how I did the melody to the speech. And then when we did the video took 2 days. It cost about like no more than $5,000. because everybody donated the cameras and the editing. And if you were to pay for it, it probably would have cost $200,000. And black and white, no color, nobody smiling, because it ain't a happy time right now. So one smile at the end, down to every do-do-do. I was, molding it, shaping it, and you want to put a melody in it that pulls that emotion out, right? When you listen to Blackbird coming in the morning, take these broken wings and make them fly. That was like, it's emotional when you hear that song. So you want to have the emotion as well, because it was an emotional time. So I think that's the reason why you had, I call it a baton. Viral, anybody can catch some virus. Viral isn't good. Viral isn't always good. A baton, something that's batonable, means that you have a baton and you're going to run as fast as you can to your nearest loved one and give it to them. And they're supposed to run to the nearest loved one to give it to them. Batonable, that is more powerful than viral. Because viral just comes and goes, and you cured your virus. Oh, you got this from this girl. She gave you cooties. But batonable, that's something that we all are. Hey, check this out. I get batons from Ken Hertz every day. You got to see this new technology. But you're proud to share, to tell your friends about something. A batonable.
Say that there was a lot of batons being passed around when you did that video. Talk to me just a little bit about your personal relationship to social media, to Twitter, to Facebook, to using the web as an expression of who you are. Is this something that you spend a lot of time doing?
No, I don't use Twitter. I don't abuse Twitter. And I don't. It's a microphone. It's a macrophone. The way I look at the internet and mobile connectivity. It's a conch. If I have something to say or something to talk about or something I'm passionate about, I'll turn it on and speak or show or share. But that's the only way I could look at it. It's a macrophone, not a microphone, where you're able to talk to the world in real time. But you don't abuse that, because you don't want people to, as this is the beginning, right? It's the beginning of all that. It ain't like it was around 10 years ago. So I think there's going to be etiquette. We haven't even reached the moment of etiquette, to people defining what is, there's no definition right now on behavior or what that's rude. Right now we all know, hey, why you writing in caps, right? What? I forgot to hit the caps lock. And I was in a rush. But you know that if somebody writes in caps, that's rude. Right? As simple as that is. But it's a beginning, and I think that, in the future, in the near future, we're going to define a cultural, what's etiquette, what's polite, what's just absurd. All the stuff that's happening, like, what? Homeboy showing his body parts? He's a freaking politician. Like, wow. It's brand new. We're living in an era where it's being defined right now. And because of all this activity, we're going to soon have a global understanding of what's etiquette and what's not. So that's why I back off, but do it, healthy doses of connection.
You have been involved in a lot of charity work or philanthropy over the years, and you've made a lot of headlines for it. What are you working on right now? What's in your, what's driving you right now?
Well, I still have my I.am scholarship, where I go DJ around the world, and I use my personal money to send kids to school, and but boutique, to where I can have a relationship with these kids.
How do you choose? I mean, there's
My
so
my mom chooses the kids.
Your mom?
Yes. So I trust my mom, her ability to pick out and nurture. I think she did a good job with me and my brothers and my sisters and all the other people that call her mom. So I wanted to bring my mom close to me in that. And, you know, my passion, hey, Ma, here's 100 kids. Can you help me pick which ones I want to send to college? And she takes pride in that. And then, I talk to the kids on email and incentivize them. Hey, if you get a 4.0, 3.8, you come to Paris with me, or come to Brazil with me. No one's got a 4.0, but if they do, but I keep it on a boutique level, because I think when it's too big, it's just invisible. It's a ghost. And I want to keep it on that personal level to inspire people to, to do it on a personal level too, because that's how that's real change, is when the people that you're helping out know that you're doing it for the right reasons, and that right reason is because you're personally invested in it. Someone did that to me, so I want to pay it forward. It's not giving back, it's paying it forward.
You also did the I.am Home.
Yeah, I.am Home is, I rescue a family or two or three who are, losing their home because they lost their jobs. Not because they're living beyond their means, they just have no means to live. And so, all debt-free. And now I want to launch next year, when I have more means to, I.am Wellness, where helping families who can't afford to pay their kids health insurance because they have diabetes or obese. And it's all inner city, because that's what happens. People in inner cities, now in suburbs, have no jobs, they can't pay their home, the kids can't go to college, and their kids are obese and have diabetes. It's all the same plague, because, they're eating bad, there's no, how-to as far as how they keep themselves healthy. Mm-hmm. And because the reason why there's no how-to is because they're feeding their family on $10, right? So there's no reinforcement. I see what's happening. I'm looking around the corner on what America's going to look like. It's going to be, you go to Detroit and Mangueira, Brazil. Poverty versus poverty. In Mangueira, you have poverty and people are fit with abs, they're healthy, they work out. And then you have poverty in Detroit, people are obese. We're going to be the first nation that's poor and fat. It's a weird thing we're going to see in the next 10 years, like poor, fat people. What do? We not, right? It's not like we're going to have jobs, like this big booming, boosting jobs that happened last week that they're talking about on the news. That's not what they're talking about. They're not talking about, America fixed our education. That's not what they're talking about. So 10 years from now, we're going to see fat, poor people, like real obese. We seen in the 80s, poor people were supposed to be all skinny. America's going to define the new poor. And I'm going to try my best not to do that. Let that happen.
So
Market so that don't happen.
So you said you're going to have more time to work on these issues. Is this because of the hiatus? Because aren't you doing an album?
Yeah, well, I always work. So I got like 5 albums. If they told me to release 10 albums tomorrow, I could put them all out because I stay in the studio.
Would they be any good?
So there's songs like, like say for example, Usher calls, yo man, I need that song, I need that last one. And so does anybody that wants to.
Well, I know that like
so,
a couple months
gosh.
ago, Britney called, right?
Well, oh my gosh, that song was just sitting in my hard drive, right? So There's a lot of songs that sit in the hard drive.
I hope
Some
you have
of them
that
are
thing
good.
backed up.
Some of them are good. Some of them aren't. Right. Some of them are, can be good. But every night before I leave the studio, I plug my hard drive up, and all the songs are stored safely in a secured cloud. It's cool.
Do we have questions from the audience? Anyone inspired to ask a question that I haven't asked already? Thanks for your input. Over here.
I'm curious. So a lot of the issues that you talked about being passionate about and the way you were inspired by Obama in the last election, it's been a popular question, and I'll ask it here, is how do you feel like he has done, in satisfying or delivering on the inspiration, in getting after the issues of poverty, of health, all that sort of stuff?
I think, loaded one. I think Obama did as great as anybody could, probably greater, given the job he was given. He was handed a mess, and in what order he fixed the mess, we could fight. Like, man, you should have did this first, right? But it was, yes, we can. Right, we got to remember what it was. It wasn't, yes, I can do this for you. Check me out. I got a master plan for America, and in 2 weeks it's going to be done. That's not what it was. It was, yes, we can. So we could sit here and complain like, Obama, you didn't do it, Obama. But then you have to ask the question, well, what the hell did you do? Have you contributed to cleaning up the mess? Because if you didn't, then you have no right to say, where are we? Right? You're in the, just wait till it's done. And it isn't going to be done in the 8 years. We know that. It's impossible. Right? Hopefully he gets reelected. And even after he runs his course, it's still going to be a mess. But you expedite it by coming in yourself. You taking personal responsibility to how are you going to fix your neighborhood. So I'm doing that. I want to fix my neighborhood. Where I'm from, Boyle Heights, the projects, the things that I see, right? It's a nutritional genocide that's happening in every single urban area, right? They're being deprived from knowledge on how to keep themselves healthy. There's no opportunities. Well, instead of waiting for opportunity, how can you create opportunities? How do you turn, I'm hustling. How do you turn people into entrepreneurs? How do you enable people, right? How do you go to a brand and say, hey, instead of trying to get the youth, why don't you enable the youth? Right? So that's the kind of stuff you do. You come up with ideas and concepts to brands that instead of being marketers, communicators. How do you build better communities? That's how brands are going to win in the future. Because now that you could bypass TiVo, like TiVo's like, I don't want to see that commercial. I don't want to do that. I don't want to listen to that. But we all watch commercials during the Super Bowl because every single brand and advertiser is at their best. Entertainment. Right? So now we're just going to wait around for who's going to get a Super Bowl spot during, right? How do you keep that conversation after Super Bowls, after World Cups? In communities. You do it, the brands that better communities, enable the youth to become citizens that contribute to culture, that define behavior. Those are the brands that are going to be successful. So that's what I want to do to help Obama, not even help Obama, help America, right? I'm an American. So I don't want to be a complainer. Like, so much noise, people complaining. So much energy spent on complaining. People are out for themselves, right? I could personally lose a lot of money because I care about this youth that Dean Kamen has enabled with U.S. First. teaching kids mathematics, science, robotics, and engineering. And all the people around me were like, well, you shouldn't do it. You're going to lose money. You're wasting your own money. You shouldn't use your own money. So I went to Dean Kamen and told him, hey, I want to turn your program that he's been doing for 20 years, 16,000 schools across America, teaching kids that are 8 to 19 robotics, science, and mathematics. I want to turn that into a show. If we could perform at the Kids' Choice Awards, we should perform at the U.S. First Robotics Competition. Here are kids who, the lowest 3.8 grade GPA. Shouldn't they be performed for? Shouldn't they have a night of, with you're applauding them and celebrating their dedication and discipline? So not only did I do that, I called ABC and bought airtime to turn that to a TV show. Because you can't go to brands. Brands are like, well, there's no way robotics competition is going to be a successful TV program. So you have to think about that. So you're like, all right, check this out. So look, we're going to turn it into a show, get the people that did Kids' Choice Awards to produce it with me, and then I go to ABC and buy the time, and then design it the way I have it in my head, because the reason why people don't see it, because they can't see what's in my head, so let me take what's out of my head, invest in it, and now I got a show August 14th at 7 p.m. back to school program on ABC.
Have you resold the rights?
Yeah.
Are you making money on it?
And now, instead of losing $3 million, I think I made like 5,000. But it's cool, because you got to do that shit. You have to, because you
I've
don't.
never met an entertainer who thinks more like a marketer.
You don't do it to get rich, right? Those kind of things. People are always talking about what's in it for me. What's in it for me? Right now, you don't do that. What's in it for us? How do I change my community? How do I get U.S. First to Boyle Heights? Think about it. You go to every single school, there's a basketball gym and a football field. These kids, not every kid's gonna go play at the NFL or play for the NBA. There's no science programs in schools. None. There's some, but not a lot. I sat in an arena, 50,000 kids, brainiacs. I saw a 12-year-old like, oh my gosh, I have to finish writing this code. I'm like, what, writing? You're 12 years old writing code? When I was 12 years old, I was writing raps. Right? It's a new era. These kids are writing programming code. That's beautiful. I want my little 12-year-old niece to write code. She's not, because this area that she's in, they don't teach that, and it's not mandatory, it's not mandatory for LA Unified School District to make code writing part of a curriculum. That should change. Who are we competing with? Is America a bunch of consumers? Right? Is that what we mean to the world? We just want to consume shit? Right? Because if that's the case, we won, right? You know what I mean? That shouldn't be what we are. Can we compete against India right now? Can we compete against all these emerging countries? Brazil's economy is like, pew, rising. So that's what we got to look at. Who are we competing against?
I wish we could go forever, but unfortunately we're deep into lunch, and I know that you have rehearsals for your show this week, so please join me in thanking Will for coming by.